Good morning. Today I will present a paper titled Risk Assessment and Risk Management Review of Recent Advances on their Foundation by Terje Evans. In introduction, this paper distinguishes between the ancient practice of risk assessment and its emergence as a formal scientific discipline over the last 40 years. He structures the field into two pillars: the task one or applied risk, focusing on specific activity like offshore operation, and task two is generic risk, which develop the theoretical framework and models. The paper prioritized task two, highlighting how risk analysis has expanded from its 1970 foundation into diverse modern sectors such as nanotechnological and global security. A central theme is the application integrative thinking, where advance suggests the field advanced by synthesizing opposing definition into superior unified concept. Rather than merely calculating probability, modern risk science now emphasizes the complex relationship between uncertainty, knowledge, and back one's event. This section effectively sets the stage for a review of how the field has shifted toward managing deep uncertainties and surprises through more sophisticated generic research approaches. And the next is the risk field and science. In this section, Evan examines the scientific identity of the risk field, asserting that as generic risk research or text 2 primarily define risk science drawing from Hasson. He was he viewed science as the practice of providing the most especially warranted statement available. Evan notes that boundaries between generic research and specific application from task 1 are fluid. Research in specialized areas such as supply chain risk management provide foundation knowledge for that sector while often influencing generic risk theory. A profit A pivotal argument is the challenge of knowledge transfer across different domains. Many fields develop tailor-made concepts that may not align with the latest advance in generic risk research, highlighting the need for stronger visibility of generic studies. However, the author emphasized that the tension between these varying perspectives stimulates integrative thinking and groundbreaking ideas. And the next is science, knowledge, and decision making. In this section, Evan explains how scientific facts are transformed into real world decision using a simple model from a figure 1. This is how we move this is how we move evidence and data to a knowledge base. This knowledge base then inform our risk evaluation crucially. This model shows that final decisions are not just based on hard fact, but also the values of weight assigned by decision maker. It starts with collecting data and evidence which build a knowledge base. Then expert evaluate the risk based on this knowledge. Finally, decision maker combines this information with value and judgment. So decisions are not purely scientific; they also involve subjective value. However, things get complicated during the risk evaluation stage. Experts often find themselves in a no man's land where they must balance hard science with practical value to decide if something is safe enough. Finally, decision maker that take this information mix it with policy or social concern to make the final call. Another key Another key point is the shift in how we define knowledge traditionally. Traditionally, knowledge is seen as something true, but in the risk field, we often don't know the truth until failure happens. Evan argues that risk assessments should be treated as knowledge as long as they are scientifically sound, reliable, and valid. In short, the focus is shifting from trying to predict the future perfectly to clear describing what we know and what we don't to support better decision making. The number three is risk conceptualization. Risk does risk does not have a single universal definition. However, the definition agree that risk involves uncertainty about outcomes, especially negative consequences. Some definition focus on probability, other impact, other focus on impact, and some on deviation from expected result. Overall, qualitative definition of risk, qualitative definition of risk, the possibility of an uncertain occurs. The potential for relation of unwanted negative consequence and even exposure to proportion of which on is uncertain. The consequence of the activity and associated uncertainty about and severity of the consequence of an activity with respect to someone that human value, the occurrence of some specified consequence of the activity associated uncertainties, the deviation from a reference and associated uncertainties. And the next is matrix description example. To to better understand risk, we need a way to formally express it. In this paper is defined as a combination of two elements, consequence and uncertainty, which can be written as R equals C and U. This means risk is not just about what happened, about what might happen, but also how uncertain we are about it. In practice, risk is often simplified as a probability multiplied by impact. However, in this is only one way to represent risk. A more detailed approach is the scenario-based model, where consider different possible scenarios is with its own probability and consequence. From this we can also calculate the expected value, which represent the average outcome across scenario. But an important point here that this model still have limitation, especially uncertainty is high or knowledge is weak. Okay. While various metric is while various metric exist to quantify risk, to it it carries its own of strengths and limitation depending of the context. For the instant expected value is often favored for its simplicity. However, it tends to overlook the depth of uncertainty. particularly in the complex scenario. Similarly, probability-based approaches are widely adopted across many fields, yet they can be misleading when background knowledge is weak or data is limited. Furthermore, the scenario-based approach offer a, offer a more detailed perspective by considering multiple outcomes, though they can become increasingly difficult to apply in practice. This represents just a few of the many tools available, and their effectiveness ultimately depends on how well they align with the specific decision need. And, number four, uncertainty in risk assessment. Uncertainty in risk analysis is fundamentally categorized into types: aleatory uncertainty, which stem from natural randomness and is considered irreducible, and epistemic uncertainty, which arises from a lack of knowledge and can be reduced as our understanding increase. While aleatory uncertainty is typically managed through the frequentist probability, epistemic uncertainty is often addressed using Bayesian or subjective approach. However, the suitability of this method depends heavily on the context. Yes, each carries distinct strengths and limitations. From instance, the expected value is favored for its simplicity but tends to overlook the depth uncertainty in complex scenario where background knowledge is weak. Similarly, probability-based approach, though widely adopted, can be misleading. They imply a level of certainty that the available data cannot justify. Furthermore, alternative representation like possibility theory or interval probabilities offer a more detailed view of the uncertainties, yet they can become increasingly complex to apply. Ultimately, as discussed by Evan, these tools are most effective when they supplement each other through integrative thinking and support informed decision making. But in modern risk analysis, probability alone is not enough. This is why the concept of strengths of knowledge, or SOK, is introduced. Is introduced. Risk is expressed not only probability, but as combination of probability and the strength of knowledge behind it. The key idea is that two situations may have the same probability, but every different level of confidence. Number five, risk management principle and strategies. Risk management is fundamentally answered by two pillar construct by two pillar a structured process and a set of objectives. The process follows systematic cycle, beginning with the establishing the context to define objective, followed by risk identification, analysis, and evaluation to characterize the severity of risk. The cycle concludes with the risk treatment, where the measures are implemented to mitigate potential impact. However, Aven emphasized that this process is not purely mechanical. It requires managerial review that looks beyond numerical results to account for background and the strength of knowledge supporting the analysis. To effectively address this risk, a maximum a mixture of three primary strategies is typically employed. The risk-informed strategy utili- utilizes quantitative assessment to guide risk reduction or transfer for situations involving high uncertainty to potential suppress the cautionary or precautionary strategy, often associated with robustness and resilience, is used to build in safety factor, flexible response option. Finally, discursive strategies focus on building trust and transparency through stakeholder involvement. Together, these strategies are structured process provide a comprehensive framework to balance the dilemma between value creation and safety protection. And the next is strategies. The first one is precautionary principle. The next is robustness, resilience, large deep uncertainties, surprise and black swans, risk criteria, integrative perspective. But we just gonna review maybe three or four, maybe three. The first one is precautionary principle. The precautionary principle focus on taking action significant scientific uncertainty. The core idea is that when potential consequences are serious, the lack of conclusive evidence should not be used as a reason to postpone measures to prevent harm. It is essential to distinguish between cautionary and precautionary approach. Cautionary measures are broader and applied to known risks where the phenomena are well understood, such as implementing standard safety barriers. In contrast, precautionary actions are triggered specifically when consequences are difficult to predict due to presence due to scientific uncertainty. In this situation, decision cannot really solely on quantitative models. Instead, they require the value judgment to balance cost action with the desired level of protection. And the next is robustness. Robustness focus on a system capacity to withstand sounds of ignorance and vague approximation without degrading its core properties. Rather than pursuing an optimal solution based on precise parameter, the goal is to find solutions that perform reliably across a range of different conditions, achieved from optimizing to satisfying. A primary tool in this approach is worst case analysis, which evaluates system performance under the most unfavorable realization of uncertainty. However, robustness is strictly a decision support tool. Final decisions still necessitate managerial judgment to ensure the proper trade-off between system performance and protection, avoiding excessively over conversion. And the next is resilience engineering. Resilience engineering focus on the system ability to adapt and recover in the face of stressor. A resilient system is not merely resistant to failure, but it capable of sustaining or restoring its basic functionality when disturb occur. According to Holnaker et al., there are four key ability in resilience: the ability to respond to threat in adaptive manner, to monitor continuous performance, to anticipate future risk events, and to learn from experience. Unlike traditional approach, that rely on linear cause and effect model. Resilience is designed from complex socio-technical system where uncertainty is inherent and unavoidable future. And the last is Black Swan event. Black Swan events are rare, unpredictable, occurs with the extreme impact that fall outside the realm of normal expectation by definition. Their event cannot be forecasted using historical data or average probability as they represent extremes rather than mediocristan. Intensely, they are typically only understood in hindsight, where they are retrospectively explained as if they were predictable. This highlights a major limitation of traditional risk assessment that rely on rely on historical failure data. Consequently, the focus shifts toward building anti-fragile systems that can handle stress and even improve from it, while emphasizing the strength of knowledge to better understand the boundaries what we can actually predict. And the next, the future of risk and assessment management. Plexva traditionally risk has been viewed negative as a threat or to be avoided. However, the modern perspective acknowledges that risk not only about potential loss but also about value creation. Every strategic decision involves a fundamental dilemma. The drive for innovation suggests that taking risk is necessary for growth, as managing uncertainty properly can can improve long-term performance in certain contexts. System can even achieve a competitive advantage through anti-fragile, where they don't just survive stress but actually improve and thrive when exposed to volatility. And the next current issue, key challenge, the field of risk science faces several critical challenges, particularly in situations of depth uncertainty, where traditional statistical model and historical data are insufficient or misquoting. First, we must move beyond pure probability-based approach. A single probability value often fails to reflect the strength of knowledge supporting it. Second, the communication risk remain difficult. We need better way to visualize risk for diverse stakeholders without misrepresenting what we know and do not know. Finally, there is the challenge of model integration where technically data must be combined with human factor and qualitative judgment into coherent framework and support rather than replace the managerial review. The future of risk science. The future of risk science is shifting toward dynamic and adaptive risk management rather than static assessment. This involves adaptive analysis where decisions are dynamically tracked and adjust through a process of learning by doing or trial and error. Furthermore, there is a clear shift from simple prediction resilience engineering, focusing on systems capability to adapt to emerging risks in complex independent system. This evolution includes the use of integrative framework that combine scientific evidence with social value and organizational principle, such as collective mindfulness. Ultimately, the goal is to develop systems that are not just robust but anti-fragile, gaining strength from the very uncertainty they encounter. And the last is conclusion. In conclusion, risk is best understood as the interplay between consequence and uncertainty, meaning that probability alone is an insufficient metric. A modern scientific foundation for risk must explicitly account for the strength of knowledge to ensure that decision makers are not misguided by accurate looking but poorly supported prediction. Effective risk management requires an integrative balance, utilizing risk-informed strategies where data plen- plentiful while learning on cautionary, robust, and resilient approach when facing deep uncertainties. Ultimately, the purpose of risk science is to provide a strong and unifying platform that support better decision making in a increasingly complex and understanding world. That's all from my presentation. Thank you.